Every evening that I can, I go to the ocean to enjoy a beautiful sunset. I can't fathom staying inside and having anything that would entertain me more than being able to connect with the beautiful nature that I have the pleasure of living by. Sometimes I'll even stay out there way after the sun sets and enjoy darkness. In Old Norse culture, this is called an utsitte. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But essentially connecting with nature, often high up on a cliff, and having some introspective time alone. Even though I spend a lot of time by myself, when I am in nature, I never feel lonely. I just feel the presence of the beauty around me, and that is fulfilling enough for me. Dinner is always a very simple variation of the same thing every day. Tonight I am having some sweet potato with heirloom cherry tomato and olive and rice, mixed up with a little bit of hummus and a spicy sauce. I cook very, very simply, and I don't have much variety in what I eat, but I found that this way is just a lot more freeing for me because I don't need to be excited with a new and fancy meal every day. I just want to know that something will fill me up and nourish me and taste good and give me good energy for the next day. So I usually eat the same thing most days of the week, and then I'll treat myself to a fun night out dinner on my day off, like Thai food or Indian food or some vegan burgers and fries. While I am waiting for my dinner to finish cooking, I will usually do a quick stretch. I am on my feet 40 hours a week working at a very busy restaurant as a bartender, so I try to take all the tension out of my body from the day before I sit down and relax to eat. Dinner is ready, but before I sit down to eat, I will always take the time to do all of my dishes. I found this to be really beneficial to give my food time to cool so I can actually taste everything. But more importantly, I don't want to deal with a mess of dishes after dinner. I want to just sit and enjoy my meal and then be able to relax after. When I sit down to eat my dinner, I always start off by blessing my food and having gratitude for what is about to nourish me, as well as sending any prayers to those that might need it for the day. I also practice what is called in Buddhism as noble silence, simply meaning I eat my meal in complete silence. While this may sound boring or even sad to people who are used to having loud conversations or watching TV or movies or listening to music or a podcast, I have found this to be a really beautiful practice that has connected me a lot deeper to my food and the nourishment I am receiving, the flavors I am receiving, as well as just keep me in a much more calm and grounded state that I can take with me into the rest of the evening. After dinner, instead of turning on the TV or scrolling through my phone, I simply just light a candle. This is a really sacred act for me. It brings me a lot of peace and joy to have just the beauty of a candle lit, and it sets the tone for the rest of my evening. While I haven't had a TV in over 10 years now, I used to have a really bad habit of scrolling through social media after dinner at night, and while there's been some useful content that has really helped me, I've found that scrolling hours on end was not the best use of my time, and staring at the screen at night really was interfering with my sleep. Now I try to adhere to a no screen time after dinner, and instead I practice silence fasting. This is essentially just more silence time, and I understand looking from the outside this could seem incredibly boring or like wasting an evening, and I get that. Older versions of myself probably would have thought that as well, but I've found that this time in silence has been incredibly healing for me and calming, and helped me to have really insightful things that I would not have been able to realize had I been searching on the outside for stimulus or answers. I've found that deep silence has really helped me get to know myself, helped me get to heal a lot of things, and also reconnect me to my own intuition, which I felt like I had lost over the years. Plus, after dealing with hundreds of people all day at my restaurant, the silence is a much-needed reprieve. I've never really had much of a sweet tooth, but for dessert, I do like something savory and a little bit satiating. So I have this Miyoko's brand French-style vegan cheese, and honestly, I think a lot of vegan cheeses are super gross and have a lot of weird ingredients in them, but this one is awesome because it tastes delicious and it's all just real food. It's cashews, coconut cream, cultures, salt, pepper, scallions, and that is it. It's super yummy. I highly recommend it. That is my go-to nightcap for the day. After dessert, it is bathrobe time and then just the normal adulting things of brushing and flossing my teeth. I don't do anything crazy to my face at night, and as for my hair, it's not a wash night. I only wash my hair once a week with a coconut oil bar soap, and this has completely transformed the life of my hair. It's responded really well to it. But I do shower every night before bed. I've always been a nighttime shower. I remember even in my party days, which are long gone now, if I would get home at 3 a.m., I would still have to shower before bed because I really can't sleep without it. I put absolutely nothing on my skin at night except for chapstick. I have found that the less I put on my skin, the happier it is. And the only other hygiene thing I'll do at night is brush my hair. This is the first brush I had after washing my hair 2 nights ago, and I had a pretty wild day at work today, so it was a little tangly, but it's nothing that a little extra care and patience and love and attention won't take care of. After showering, I am back on my little couch, this time to enjoy some music before I go to bed. Oftentimes it's sound baths or very ambient, tranquil meditation style music, but I also like a lot of film score or just really deep emotional music. And I'm kind of a weird kid. My favorite music these days is actually Nordic, shamanic, Viking, pagan type music. That may seem a world away for a California chick living on the beach, but I did grow up in Canada. I think that's partly why I feel such a deep connection to Nordic culture. My favorite group of my entire life is a group called Heilung. Let me know if you know Heilung in the comments. They are definitely a little bit, I would say, very far outside of the mainstream, but their music has absolutely transformed my life. If you've made it this far into the video, you are probably wondering if I'm dying of boredom by now, but I can truly say that I'm not. This is so different from how I used to live my life, where every minute of the day was jam-packed, but that led to a lot of burnout and anxiety and depression. And now simplifying my life to such an extreme does not feel like deprivation at all. It has given me such abundance and richness of experience that I would say is more subtle, but far more enriching and deep. It's time for me to go to bed now. I actually crawl into bed with the light still on and just let myself decompress that way. I found it almost works as a reverse psychology to not put pressure on myself to fall asleep right away, but just let my body unwind in its own time. I turn on my little sleep machine to play rain while I sleep and let myself drift off naturally. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Good night.